Being vegetarian and traveling internationally can sometimes be quite difficult. So in this video, I thought of sharing with you all of my tips, tricks and hacks that help me food-wise whenever I'm traveling abroad. Hi everyone and welcome to SugarSpiceNice. My name is Shweta and in this video I thought of sharing with you everything that helps me survive an international trip food-wise. So I'm a vegetarian and I do have a few tips and tricks that I've picked up through all of my travels internationally. Now whether you're traveling to places like the Far East or Southeast Asia where vegetarian food can sometimes be an issue, or you just want to save up some money by cutting down on food expense when you're traveling internationally, these tips will help you with all of that. Now the first tip is to pack some food from home, and the food that you need to pack is something that survives the test of time. Most common thing that we Indians carry while traveling is something known as theplas. It's a typical Gujarati snack which everybody eats and is very widely carried when traveling internationally. A lot of my friends end up laughing at me whenever I'm carrying theplas during a trip, but trust me, after a few days of eating all of that Western food, they are the ones who are digging into my theplas. Theplas is such a food item that can actually last for days. You just need to make sure you're adding sufficient ghee, which acts as a natural preservative, and not adding any yogurt while making them. If you don't have the time to make them yourself at home, then you can get into any farsan shops. You will find theplas very nicely packed. Pick up a few packs depending on the duration of your trip, and trust me, they will help you. Another thing that you can carry with you is an upma mixture from home. So this is essentially rava which is roasted, and with a little bit of ghee you're doing the entire tadka, and put this whole thing in a Ziploc bag and carry it with you. And when you want to have it, just put it in a container or a dabba like this which has a lid. Pour really hot boiling water which can be available in any hotel room, and shut the lid for a few minutes and you'll have your piping hot upma ready. Another thing that you can carry with you is things like farsan and chips. Now the reason I'm saying to get these from here and go is because you'll never get those typical masala flavors wherever you're traveling. Trust me, the joys of eating kela chips in a trip abroad are unparalleled. Many a times it happens like that you're traveling in a group and you want to go for a nice dinner outside while you're on holiday, and what do you eat if you're vegetarian? Basically, I'm a vegetarian, and when I'm traveling I need to communicate to them very effectively to not use any fish or any meat. So what is like the most kindest way to say that without offending anybody?
Your first thing would be to say to everyone, you don't eat meat or any meat products or fish products. Fortunately, many people believe meat and fish are separate. Yes, so if you just tell them you're a vegetarian, they don't always understand that.
So I've been chatting with Andrea. She's my tutor in Cambly. This app basically helps me practice my spoken English. You can connect one-on-one with a private tutor and speak on different topics, and it's a great way to practice speaking to someone, to practice diction, to get over that fear of, talking to an unknown person sometimes. Their tutors are mostly from US, UK, Canada. You can use this app for either improving your spoken English or practicing fluency with an accent. It is a paid app, but if you use my code which is on the screen here, you will be able to try it for 10 minutes for just about 199 rupees. And what I realized is that when you're traveling internationally, greeting people and making a request for something really helps you get your way. So there are times where I walk into a McDonald's or a Burger King and I don't find a veggie patty burger or something. So what I do is I request them to give me just the bun, just veggies, but add like a lot of tomatoes, onions, and whatever other veggies they may have. And these chains are much cheaper than eating anywhere else while you're traveling. Few things that you can order while eating out in a restaurant while traveling internationally is stir-fried veggies. Another dish that you can order from a restaurant without really worrying is hummus. Hummus has been a savior for me in so many trips and is mostly easily available. Another dish that you can eat at a restaurant while traveling is pizza, but just be careful about the cheese. Mozzarella cheese is not really vegetarian. It does have rennet in them, but a lot of places do have a vegetarian cheese available, so make sure you check that with them. Also, if I want to save money while eating in a restaurant while traveling, I look for one which is in a food court, as those tend to be much cheaper. Also, a lot of places now are much more vegan friendly, so veganism is really catching up all through the world. And what that means is that there are a lot more places that are serving vegetarian food that is dairy free, plant-based food. Just keep your eyes open for these kind of cafes. They sometimes serve really nice vegetable juices, smoothie bowls, gluten-free stuff which is essentially all vegetarian, and it can also be a really nice healthy meal while you're traveling internationally. The next tip is to visit a supermarket. Whether you're traveling to Bangkok, Singapore, Bali, US, UK, anywhere in the world, you will find a supermarket. It doesn't have to be like a really fancy one, but just one where you get a good amount and a good price for vegetables and fruits. So stock up on fruits, buy something which is local to the place where you're traveling to. It'll definitely be cheaper than anything else that you can find. This is a great meal option. It's good for breakfast, it's good for just carrying around with you. I think this is a great way to even save money. So the trick is to visit a supermarket in the beginning of your trip, so that you can stock up for the rest of the trip. Another thing that I buy from supermarkets while traveling is stuff like bread, butter and cheese. Just look for cheese that is vegetarian. You will pretty much find it everywhere. Just getting some bread and getting some vegetables like tomatoes, cucumbers, capsicum just makes for a really nice quick sandwich. It's a nice meal, you can carry it around, it's fresh, you're eating good raw vegetables. I think all in all it's a really good meal. A lot of the bigger supermarkets have these food sections, so they're essentially serving salads or soups. So you assemble your own salad and it's quite a good way to eat a nice filling meal and not end up spending too much. Bigger supermarkets also have like their everyday warm meals, so you can find stuff like soup, or you can find a pizza slice, and just check if the ingredients work with you and you can get that. Another thing that you can buy from supermarkets is these packs of cupcakes and muffins. Now in most places whole grain or oats muffins and stuff are available, so if you want a healthier version you can get that. But these are essentially like, you know, you're carrying around really nice mini dessert. Check if they're vegetarian. Now this thing really happens to me, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to agree that it happens to you as well. After that initial vanity has worn off while being on a holiday of, you know, trying new stuff, eating new cuisine or surviving on fruit, I crave a good Indian meal. Like, I find myself longing for roti sabzi, dal rice or something like that. So what do? So a lot of places that I've traveled to, whether it's Bangkok, it's Singapore, it's US, I've found Indian food, but I've also found that these restaurants can be a little bit expensive. So what I do is that I try and look for a combo meal offer that they might have, which two of us can share. So this can essentially be like a meal box which has rice, it's got a sabzi and probably a roti, and which is great to share amongst two people. So you're basically fulfilling that craving of warm Indian food. And at times I can't find these kind of offers, so what I do is I pick up one warm gravy. It can be a sabzi or it can be a dal, and because I've carried theplas or I have bread lying around in my hotel room, I make that into a meal, and that really sorts me out. Another item that you can actually carry from home, but if not, then you can even look for it while you're visiting a supermarket, is things like nuts and seeds. So all your almonds, cashews, dates, peanuts. All of these things are very, very filling, and trust me, a lot of times these items in my handbag have saved me from like really getting a migraine because of hunger. One thing that I love to indulge in while I'm on an international holiday is dessert. I just love the variety of desserts that you get, like especially local stuff, new stuff. It's just very interesting to try it. And I am going to admit it, there have been many times when I've replaced a whole meal with a dessert, because what happens is that their desserts are really huge, and you can, if you eat one whole thing or sometimes even splitting it, it ends up filling you so much that you don't need another meal. Now look for desserts that are vegetarian in terms of not having egg in them. A lot of times waffles, pancakes can have eggs. Find them in vegan places, vegan cafes, or even in supermarkets sometimes. And off the road, if you just see like a good ice cream sundae and stuff like that, go for it, have it. You're going to burn it off with all of that walking, and I'm telling you, it's going to fill you up. Another great way to fill yourself up with something healthy and vegetarian, of course, is having juices. Pretty much find fresh juices available everywhere, and a lot of times they're making it from their, local fruits, local veggies, which can be so healthy. So make sure you're trying out these juices. Look for ones that are absolutely fresh and hygienic, so when they're squeezing it or making it right in front of you. And if you don't find juices, then a lot of places also have coconut water, so you can even have that, and it may not be a replacement for a meal, but it's a good like in between meals kind of an option. So those were all of my tips and tricks for being able to eat vegetarian food while I travel internationally. I hope this video is helpful for you. Do share it with your friends and family who are vegetarian and who are traveling. I think it'll help them to sort out their food issues. And if you like this video, then press that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It'll mean a lot to me. And if you want more traveling tips, so stuff like packing, things to do in destinations, then make sure you leave that in the comments and I will try and film them for you. And that is really it from me in this video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.